A few weeks ago, a fellow developer and viewer of the channel posted his own trailer for his game in our showcase channel on our Discord server, which you should join if you want to meet like other cool game developers. And there were some cool parts of it, but honestly, I wasn't that sold on the trailer. Now, instead of just talking shit about the trailer and being like, hey, this can be improved and I don't like how you did this, I actually thought to myself, hey, I like editing. I know how to use Premiere Pro pretty solidly. I've made some trailers before. I've actually talked to Derek Liu as well about how do you make these trailers. And I figured, let's just give it a go for myself. So I hit up the developer, asked him for some gameplay footage, and if it was fine with me making this video, he was. So here we are. I'm going to be going through his old trailer, telling you a little bit about what I don't like about it, and then get working on making my own version of the trailer. Now, before we dive into what I'm going to be doing, I quickly want to go over some of the things that I didn't really like about it. And the first thing you see here, if we switch to my Premiere Pro, is this is frame 0, it's black. This is frame 1, it's black. Frame 2, black, 3, black. It takes like, let me see. The first gameplay is half a second in, on frame 16. This is already too late. As a viewer, you should be immediately thrown into the action because retention rates are horrible and you're probably gonna lose 50% of your audience at least in the first 5 seconds if they're not immediately like hooked and engaged. And just black gameplay for the first half second isn't really the most engaging. And then like now we're almost 4 seconds in. Still, not much has happened really. I've just been walking around. Am I a walking simulator? No, I'm a boomer shooter. So only here on second 5, this is when the first action really happens, which is, in my opinion, too late. And this isn't even like that much action. This isn't the most high stakes stuff. My belief of when the trailer starts really is right here, where you have that big explosion, and it sounds like the developer did time this to the music drop as well, which I like, but he didn't do that enough throughout the entire trailer. Because now we're 15 seconds in already, 50% of your audience at least is gone at this point, which you don't want to have. You want to immediately, like this explosion should be like at second 5 of your trailer, not at second 15, because this is really impactful and it's really like sells the game. Some other issues that I have with this trailer, like I'll just go through it rapid fire. If you want, I'll make a dedicated, like more sit down and talk video about what I do and don't like about trailers and how you should make them. I don't like the music choice. Because the issue is he took just his regular boss music, but that means that the first like 15 seconds, nothing really happens. Once again, you want to be immediately at the drop of the song. You want to have that high energy from the moment someone watches the trailer. Another problem is that looking at the length of this trailer, 2 minutes and 28 seconds, that's simply too long. Your trailer shouldn't be that long. No one's gonna watch it till the end. And my guess is just that this is the case because he took his music, put it in his editing software, and then recorded some gameplay and was like, okay, now I just need to fill up the entire song length. Don't do that. Your trailer should be short. 45 seconds is already plenty enough. 30 seconds is like the minimum that I would suggest, but having 30 seconds of gameplay is already really solid. Don't go for much more than a minute, especially not for one of your first trailers, because you're going to lose people along the way. And especially if your game doesn't have that much to show, because this game only has about 30 to 40 minutes of like gameplay in general, if I recall correctly right now. It's going to be hard to fill up those 2 minutes and like 30 seconds almost of gameplay. And because of that, you also get like clips that are like 8 to 10 seconds or even 15 seconds here at the back of one single fight, 15 seconds uninterrupted. That is too long. That is going to be boring. You need to do some editing magic to spice it up really. And then 2 final issues that I have with the trailer is that 1, the music is too loud, so you lose a lot of sound effects. Like this game has some pretty good sound effects for like when you're jibbing the enemies. Like you can't even hear the explosions really. Like there was a shotgun blast right there, but it was just too overpowered by the music, which isn't good. You should showcase the sound effects as well because they're a crucial part of your game. But then the biggest cardinal sin is, this is the end. What did I just watch? I just, like, the song ended basically. So the developer was like, okay, let me put like a final, like nice shot of an environment, but then it just fades to black and there's no call to action. That's the #1 thing you should always have, is have a call to action. Wishlist the game, download the game's demo, playtest the game, or buy the game. I don't care, sign up for email list, but there should be something for your viewer who has just sat through 2.5 minutes of your trailer, which is already like exceptional. They should now know what to do. They just watch this, but they have no idea what the game's called, where they can find out more about it, if the game is out, if they can buy it, if they can play it or whatever. So it really makes their life harder. You should make it as easy as possible for them to find out that information. And then one final thing that I don't really like that you shouldn't do either in your trailer is use these transitions where you like dissolve one image into the other. They're very common in editing software, but they don't fit the vibe of a trailer. You should just use immediate jump cuts where like one frame is one scene and then the next frame is a completely different clip. So now that I've talked enough about what I don't really like about the trailer that much, how am I going to actually get started and making that trailer better on my own? Well, I think a trailer should start with the music. That's going to be my #1 thing. So I'm going to go to Artlist because that's what we use. We have a commercial license for it through our YouTube. We've used it in Forge Industry as well, the music from it. And I'm going to find some music that is going to fit this soundtrack that I can use. Now, my life is easy because in Artlist, this is not sponsored. I have no affiliation with them. I guess they're all right. I can actually just look up like a game, for example, and they will give me similar songs to like the Doom game, because that's the vibe I want to go with. I want to go for that like more rock heavy metal kind of synthy vibe. And here I have a few good examples already. So I'm just going to go through them. I'm going to skip to somewhere in the middle already. So I really have the most energetic part of the song already. I'm not a musician, by the way, so I may be saying really dumb stuff here. And then I'm just gonna go through these songs. So this one I don't really like because it is too like dubstep-y, I guess is the right word. This one is too much like Doom Eternal. I don't really want to do that. Like the game is still a little bit different. This one is a bit too epic, I guess. This one is too cyberpunky, and I'm gonna be honest, I kind of already cheated. I looked at songs before this. I think this one fits the vibe the best. Let me actually skip a bit more further forward. I'm gonna go with this song. I think it has a good vibe for the gameplay. So let's just download this and then put it into Premiere Pro. Now that it's in Premiere Pro, I'm going to find where do I want my music to start really. So I had a good spot somewhere around here. So I'm just going to cut the first part, move it more forward. And now I have like a little bit over a minute of music. Now at this end I can trim off, and I'll probably like trim it off even more. And now what I want you to do is, because music is the #1 thing that makes a trailer, you should start with the music and only then do the gameplay. And what I do here is I just listen to the song, and whatever editing software you're using, there should be a shortcut key for your markers. And you're just going to listen to the song, and every time that there's like, I don't know the right terms because I'm not a musician, but it's like whenever there's like a drum hit or whatever, it's generally evenly spaced out, like the BPM, you're going to put a marker. So it's like every 2 to 3 seconds generally. And then once you have all of those markers, all you need to do is fill up the space between those markers with gameplay footage. So I'm just going to listen now and place markers. So now what this allows me to do, if I get a clip here of like some combat, I will just look at it here, put it on the markers, and I'm going to try to synchronize to the markers. So here I'm gonna see, okay, where did he shoot? Something like here. I'm gonna cut this, move this a little bit like this, and then this one sync to this marker. And then at the next marker, I would change the clip to something different. So I keep breaking things up. So for example, it could be like this. Where, okay, this is not the best thing. I'm gonna spend more time on it, but this is the gist of, you're going to have those immediate cuts and they're going to be synced to the music. So they're not as obvious because it just makes sense that, okay, there's a change in the music, there's going to be a change in the visuals. Now I'm just gonna go through all of this. This shouldn't take too long because the developer sent me 2 playthroughs, so let's just get working on that now. Okay, so about 30 minutes have passed now, so I've actually been able to populate all of the main clips. The only thing I still need to do is to do the final call to action, but let me just quickly go over it. So I liked the original first explosion to really like solidify the action, but the combat leading up to the explosion was a bit boring, so I switched that one out with this one. So here, once again, it's really time to, when that beat drops, the explosion happens, and that's when you get the combat. And this is like, I find this really smooth already. This is more of a showcasing, okay, you can do more movement. Here's something, once again, that you should do to really show that, hey, there's always action, is just cut out the boring parts. Like between this part and this part, it's like the same clip, basically. It's like half a second of time in between, but it's half a second where you're just waiting for the gun to reload. Your viewer isn't going to be interested in that. Just cut those parts because this feels much smoother already and much more fast-paced. And then here, this is also one part that I really like. There's like this one gun pickup you have. And I figured, hey, let's do a little bit of an establishing shot before we actually show the gun in use. So now the next few clips, I really want to showcase the automatic machine gun. So I had like one shotgun in between there, but it was like 4 clips of the automatic machine gun, just like with a little bit of dispersion of that one shotgun blast, because it's also very visual. This I found a really nice establishing shot for like a scene or like a part of the trailer. So I kept this in because now the next like 2-3 shots are gonna be in the same environment. And this is just to showcase, okay, this is where we're at. It's also a really good way to break up. So here, it was a very dark and brown that like the main color of your trailer was. And here it's suddenly that pink, purple, neon style. So this is also really good because this is like visual difference, even though it's the same game. And then yeah, the next parts, they're basically continuations. What I've done here, the advantage is I got 2 playthroughs from the developer, so I could re-show certain parts of the level because it's, once again, it's a very short game that's currently out there. But at least I had different angles, different playstyles for the same area, so you don't really notice it as much. And the last 4 scenes, I just wanted to focus purely on the boss fight. I don't know how like visual the boss fight is. I don't like the like health indicator. It's kind of a bit of an eyesore, to be honest, but I got to work with it anyway. So really just showcasing a bit more of that final fight and like how it is more high stakes. There was a really good, I don't know if you were able to hear that. Let me go back. Like, I really like the sound effects here when they still come true. I'm actually gonna increase all of these sound effects now that I'm here anyway, because I still think they're a little bit too soft. So let me just slowly increase them. Yeah, so now the music has a much better balance because before you barely could hear anything about the sound effects, whereas they are a very crucial part of the game. So here you kill the boss, and then this is the one part that I still need to finish up. But here you can see, okay, now the fade goes, and now I'm gonna find some kind of end screen I can put on with like a call to action of wishlist the game, play the game, demo on Steam, whatever. But it also ties in really nicely with the music and like the portal of like, hey, I've completed it, so now you go through the portal and you, as the player, go and play the game. All right, so now I still did the final like call to action. I didn't put too much effort into it, to be honest, but I wanted to get this over quick and dirty. What happens now is, okay, you defeat the boss, then I have the transition point, and I just pull up like the logo that I just cut from the loading screen basically of the developer's footage. And I had this wishlist on Steam logo that I had made a while back for Forge Industry. I just slapped it on here, called it a day. This is already fine because now people know what they need to look for, Cryptus, and where they need to look for it on Steam. We could put a little bit more effort into it and be like, hey, there's a playtest out right now, or there's a demo out right now. Those will probably be a bit better conversion-wise, but this is good enough. And then one final thing that I did as well is keep a little bit of movement. So as you can see, there's actually a very small like scale animation as well that's going on at the same time, because you don't want complete nothingness. Something else you can do instead of black is to have a faded out gameplay screen. However, the gameplay that I got here wasn't really like nice or symmetrical, so I just opted to go for black instead. Or you can do some key art that you have, for example, for your Steam page, and then just put it on the screen here as well. And you now have a full trailer that took me like only about an hour to make, and that is including the time that I was explaining all of this to you. So having a trailer, once you have some gameplay, shouldn't be too hard. Now I know visual games like this are easier to make trailers for. That's just the way life is, but still, I hope that this has given you a bit more of a practical approach to making the trailer. If you want, like I said, I can make a video as well where I talk more about the do's and don'ts you should have for a trailer. I've done one a long time ago for Forge Industry, but I think I've learned quite a lot since then. So that's pretty much it. I'll leave a link to the complete finished version of this trailer as well, without me talking over it or whatever, so you can see that as well in the description. I really just don't want you to be scared of making trailers, because having a trailer on your store page is going to do wonders in terms of increasing your conversion, increasing your wishlist rate, and also it's just nice to look at. Anyways, that's all I really had to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I taught you some new stuff here. And yeah, check out the game Cryptid, I think. It's a pretty good game. It's like my genre at least. This is not a sponsored spot or anything either. But I figured, hey, let me give a little bit back to the community. That's all I had to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!